Hi, my name is Kenneth and I'm the chief instructor and owner of Shan Kung Fu Martial Arts School located here in the city of Pasadena, California. I was born in Mississippi, but I was raised in Detroit, Michigan. After I left home and went away to school, I just traveled all over the place. I lived in New York for a number of years, and I decided that I wanted to find some place that was a warmer climate. And I thought about Florida, then I happened to come to California, and the rest is history. I fell in love with this beautiful weather. I started my martial arts training at age 4. My parents, my mom and dad, always felt that there should be 2 activities that the entire family did together. So our 2 activities we did as a family was martial arts and bowling. And so they enrolled me at age 4. And my parents felt that out of all the other sports that a child could do, whether it be flag football, basketball, soccer, hockey, or what have you, they felt that learning martial arts would be the best activity, mainly because you're getting in shape, you learn the mind, body, and spirit, but also you learn that discipline of that winning attitude, I can, of never giving up, never quitting any task at hand. And so that was it. And so I found my love and passion for martial arts. I started out, my first art form was Taekwondo, because that was basically around during that time period. And I studied Taekwondo for a number of years, and my parents, we were out one day and we saw a martial arts demonstration, but it was Kung Fu. And my dad felt that was what he was looking for in terms of martial arts for us to get, that balance of the hard and soft. You saw the movements that were very graceful, the jump kicks, what have you, but at the same time they had a different sense, whereas Taekwondo was a good art, don't get me wrong, but it was much more sport-oriented, sport-based, whereas the Kung Fu was much more a lifestyle. And my parents enrolled me, and I started studying Kung Fu at that time at the YMCA back home, and then just stayed with it. And then once I left home as an adult, then I traveled, did a lot of training in Florida, and then I went to New York, and I started to learn from one of the most famous grandmasters of Chinese martial arts in New York City. His name is Grandmaster Shan of the Northern Eagle Claw system and the Wu style Tai Chi. And that's where I stayed and found my second home, my second father, in a sense. Well, in the system that I teach in the Northern Shaolin Eagle Claw system, to reach master level, you have to learn over 70 particular forms. You have to learn over 30 different various weapons, everything from the spear, the broadsword, the kwando, the long staff, the chain whip. So there's a lot of information. You also have to learn the Chinese lion dance, both the Southern lion as well as the Northern lion. You have to learn fighting application. You have to know how to be able to demonstrate self-defense application, apply them, but also you have to be able to apply your system, fighting against other high-ranking skilled martial artists, like on the floor, testing your skill and what have you. So it's a task that took me a long time. I've been training in Chinese martial arts now for over 30 years, so it's been a long, hard, but very fun journey. I think the most that they can really get is the confidence, and that's what I really push. With my students, I mean, of course, they get in shape, they get in the best shape possible. They learn how to kick, punch, jump, sweep. They learn how to defend themselves. But what I really look for in martial arts is really trying to teach them the confidence, self-empowerment. In other words, learning that attitude, I can succeed, never giving up. Because in life, and I teach the kids, even with the kids, I start children off here at age 4. But I try to instill in them that sometimes I'm going to teach you things that are going to be difficult. It's going to be a challenge, but I don't want you to throw in the towel and say, I can't do this, I can't do this, I don't want to go back, I don't want to quit. And I always sit down with the mom and dad and say, hey, listen, whatever you do, you have to be that support mechanism. There are going to be times that your child is going to have difficult, challenging tasks here with learning martial arts. But do not let them throw in the towel. Let them keep pushing. Because in life, that's what we're going to learn. When you become an adult, you're going to have jobs, you're going to have good days at work, you're going to have bad days, but you can't just throw in the towel. So what I really believe in what I do here at my martial arts school is I really try to empower them with positive thinking, positive reinforcement, even here on the training floor, so that way it can carry over into the everyday life that they can. You know, there are times things are going to get difficult, but just keep pushing, because right now, let's face it, in the 2016, you know, we're faced with a lot of young kids who are undisciplined. They control their parents. Unfortunately, a lot of the parents nowadays want to be their kid's best friend as opposed to being their parent, by setting rules saying, this is what you're going to do, end of discussion. So I try to make sure to instill in them, never give up the task at hand. The language that I speak, that I teach here when I'm teaching class is Cantonese, which is a dialect of Chinese from the southern part of China, which a lot of people, especially in California, you hear a lot of people speaking both, but a lot of them are speaking Mandarin more than Northern. But my teacher, who's originally from Hong Kong, and he moved from Hong Kong to the United States, to New York City in the early, like 1972. And so learning under him, since he spoke that language, and at that time, you know, his English, you know, wasn't as great. The students just learned Cantonese. So from the time you walk in, you hear someone, you know, speaking, when he would count and do counts in class, some say, or you walk in the door, you know, how are you, ho ho. So you just basically learn, you know, it's like, and when you're younger, it's easy because you're like a sponge. So you're just training, and people are speaking the language, and you just pick it up. And so that's what I do. So when I'm teaching here, I teach very traditional with a modern touch, but all of the commands and everything we do here in the school, on the training floor, the students learn Cantonese. Absolutely, absolutely. I think languages are very important. When I was younger, I spoke French because my mom spoke French and stuff like that. So I think languages are very good to know. That the more languages you can speak, the better. And also, I think it opens up a door for conversational piece. You know, with me being an African American, you know, if I'm out and a lot of times I'll get people who will come by and they'll see me teaching class and I'm speaking Chinese, and there's conversation. They sit there and they go, wow, I'm impressed. I've never heard. And before you know it, they're now students here at the school. So I just think it's a great conversational piece that when you can speak other languages and stuff, because it exposes you to their culture. And that's the most important thing. I think the great thing about martial arts, by adapting in other people's cultures, you get to understand them, so you take out a lot of this bad, negative stereotypes where you can sit there and go, no, that's not true, because I'm very familiar with this particular culture. So I think it's a godsend that the more language you can speak, the better. I love Pasadena. When I first moved to California in 1989, I was living in Los Angeles, and a friend of mine was living here in Pasadena. And what happened was, I would visit him, but then I started teaching private classes here. I had some private students I was teaching in Pasadena, and I fell in love with the city. I think that Pasadena is a very diverse community, very diverse. Everyone's friendly here. You know, you can walk outside, you can go to Starbucks, you can go down the street, and everyone, regardless of race, creed, or whatever, everyone's very friendly here. And I just think it's the ideal city. I think it's the ideal city for black-owned businesses or people of color in general, but I think it's also the ideal city for raising a family. I really do. I love Pasadena. I just think Pasadena and Altadena is a great city to be in. What I teach all of the students, which is a school creed that we say at the beginning of class and at the end of class, and this is what they are taught to recite, or to learn. Jung Si, Jung Guan, Jung Gao Do, Hok Yang, Hok Yi, Hok Kung Fu, Sum Long Yin Jiao Ku. In English, what it translates is respect the teacher, respect the school, respect the teachings that are being taught, learn kindness, learn fellowship, learn Kung Fu. Shum Lung's Northern Eagle Claw System.